Hi, I'm James. Today we're going to be talking about the Buddy Kick Blackout Kit. It's a great way to transform your scooter to a sleek and ultra-modern look with black accents. Buddy Kick, most of them come with chrome accents. Here you will change them out for black. It's a 5-piece kit. You get a rear grab rail, a speedometer bezel, a headlight bezel, horn cast, and fender crest. Give your bike a cool modern look by changing out chrome for black accent. Okay, this Buddy Kick Blackout Kit comes with 5 separate pieces. We have the headlight trim ring, we have a horn cast, we have fender crest, we have speedometer bezel, and we have grab rail. These bezels here all come in a gloss black finish, and there's a nice metallic incorporated in the black, so you'll see in the sun and other bright lighting. It has a nice pop to it. Makes your Buddy Kick look definitely unique. You're going to stand out from the crowd. We're going to go through the installation of this Buddy Kick Blackout Kit. You'll see it's very easy to install. Let's get started. All right, I like to do the toughest things first, and the hardest part of this install is just removing the top of this headset cover. That allows you to put on the speedometer bezel, and it also helps easily install this headlight bezel as well. So let's get started. We're going to remove the top of this headset cover right now. Okay, to remove the top of this headset cover, we need to remove 6 Phillips head screws. There's 3 on either side. There's one down here on the lower portion near the headlight bezel, one up here, and there's one right here. So let's get started. We're going to take out 3 screws on each side. To do that, I find the best way is to turn the handlebars inward. You can easily access these because they're on the inner portion of the leg shield. It doesn't mess up the front of your scooter by banging against it with the base of the screwdriver. Let's get started. Okay, once you've taken out the Phillips screwdrivers, get a super fine blade, flat tipped screwdriver, and we're going to go up underneath here, and there's little locking tabs that keep the top of this mated to the bottom, and we're going to have to use this flat blade screwdriver just to pry down and pop the plastics apart. And you just kind of see that, it just slides up in there and pops loose. And there's one on either side. Just slide it in there gently and do a little twist. You'll find it pop upward. Okay, now that we've got the top of this somewhat loose, you can see the trim ring already has gaps showing up around the outside of it for the headlight bezel. We're going to take our fine blade screwdriver again, and similar to the locking tabs that you just undid on the headset here, this has locking tabs as well along the top. And if you just take the flat blade screwdriver and run it up underneath there, you'll find that this trim ring just starts to pop right out, right along the top here. And you can see the tabs as you pull this out. Headlight bezel comes right out, and you can see the interlocking tabs that we just popped loose from the top. Okay, now that the headlight bezel's off, we can pretty much start to pull this headset cover off, and the easy way to do that is just to clear these brake reservoirs, and flexible plastic just kind of peels back a little bit, and you hear the tab came loose, and your headset is now loose. You can see the wiring underneath here, and we're going to just disconnect here from the speedometer. There's a clip, as you can see right here. We're going to use that to release this as it's clipped into the speedometer. Squeeze down, and then shake left to right, out it comes. So yeah, here's the headset cover with the speedometer. We're going to now remove these screws and pull off the speedometer to get access to this bezel. Okay, you can see we have 4 screws that secure the speedometer to this headset cover. Let's take them out. Okay, once the 4 screws are removed, all we need to do is pull out this speedometer from the headset cover, and now the bezel, we're going to remove these screws here around the outside to remove the bezel from the speedometer. Once we have the speedometer assembly out of the vehicle, you'll see these plastic tabs here. There's 2 on either side. These just bend outward, and then the trim ring will come up. Just kind of bend them out off to the side and pull upward while you're doing that. And then the trim ring, as you will see, will come right off of the vehicle, off the speedometer. There we go. This is a plastic clear cover. Okay, once we're ready to install the black trim ring, you want to locate this slot right here. You'll see a little gap in this indent. That goes right where your push button is on your speedometer for the clear cover. So let's just slide it right over, line that up, and you'll see it fits right over the top. Each gap in the trim ring should fit where the securing points are. Now we're going to take this and we're going to install it on top of the speedometer. Again, your push button lines up with this portion on your speedometer. Just kind of set it on top of there and press down. You'll hear these black tabs that we just released. They'll click in, and now you can install the screws that we just removed earlier, and we're heading backward into the process of putting this back together. Okay, now you can see we've reinstalled the black bezel on the speedometer assembly. Looking good so far. Let's get this put back into the headset cover and be on our way back together. Okay, we're going to reinstall the speedometer assembly with the new black bezel. Flip over your headset cover, and this is towards the front. You just set it back in there, and you'll see it sets in. Let's grab our screws and start the install process. We're already looking good. Check it out. Okay, we're just going to reconnect our speedometer assembly. You'll see here there's a little locking tab at the bottom of the speedometer where it connects to the wiring harness, and that's what this locking tab location is on here. So you can't ever really install this any other way but the correct way. And we'll just take this, clip it in, press it till you hear it lock, and we're good to go. Take this, and you'll notice this tab right here. There's a corresponding tab on the headset. Make sure to line those up and press down. Squeeze, you'll hear that lock. Next, we're going to remove the spring clips from your chrome headlight bezel, and we're going to install them on the black headlight bezel. Again, use your fine blade screwdriver, just kind of under the front of this lip, pry up, and you'll see that these spring clips will pop off, and you can install them on the black one as soon as you get them off. So this lip should always go towards the inside, and you just slide them right on this. There's a groove here, and so the face of this front should just slide in that groove, and the lip again should be on the top, this little wing lip for the spring clip. Okay, now we're going to reinstall the black headlight bezel on the bike, and the key piece is the mounting points down below are going to slide underneath here. And you just want to get the bottom in position. And if you remember, we released the top earlier. So you kind of want to start pressing downward on the top and get that to clip in here. And that'll hold this while we resecure in these other positions. Okay, once you've clipped in the top of your black headlight bezel and it's in there not falling out, we're going to reclip these in the front here. If you remember, we released those with the blade screwdriver earlier. And the way to do that, you just kind of squeeze them together, line them up, you'll hear them click. Line them up, click. Okay, you can see once you've clipped these in, how nice they were starting to look here. It looks like we're actually almost installed, but we do have to reinstall the screws on either side. Remember, we removed 3 from each side. That's the next step in this process. And then your headset, which was the most difficult part in terms of, time consuming, will be complete. Okay, once you've thrown the screws in on the 3 screws on either side, your headset's done. And now we're going to move on to the horn cast. Okay, next is the horn cast. We're going to get our friend, the fine blade screwdriver, once again, and you're going to start underneath here. And you want to be careful, you don't want to scratch your paint or anything, but just get up underneath this bezel and twist just a little bit. That's all it takes. And you'll see the bottom releases. Now, this has got a tab at the top, so you got to pull downward, and you'll see this tab has a nice lip on it. That's what kind of keeps it in there. It latches up underneath there. So when you pull down, just pull out a little bit as well. Super simple and easy. Okay, we're ready to install the black horn cast cover. And again, locate the lip at the top, and you want to push this into that tab and just kind of rotate it downward. And then you're going to grab underneath here. In she goes. Okay, next is the fender crest. Now this is primarily attached with adhesive. There's like 4 locator pins that go in, and then there'll be an adhesive that attaches this to the front fender. So you're going to have to do a little bit of prying to get this off. Guess what? We're going to use our fine blade screwdriver yet again. What we want to do, and you want to be careful, you don't want to scratch your paint. So just get up underneath the front here and work it left to right, and you'll start to see it come loose. Pry upward gently, you'll hear the adhesive release, and you can grab it and just continue to pull up gently, ever so gently, slowly, so you don't damage paint, scratch anything. And you just work your way back. So we're going to wipe this down, make sure there's no remaining adhesive, and you have a nice clean surface, so the new adhesive has a good surface to attach to. Okay, you'll see the new black bezel, or fender crest, I'm sorry, has an adhesive strip, much like the one you just removed. And you'll see these locator pins here. Just simply remove this adhesive covering and line these up. I have it in reverse. Line these up with the holes that are in your fender, starting at the back and going forward, and press down. Okay, open up your seat bucket area. We're going to have to pull the seat bucket out to access the mounting points for the rear grab rail. That's the last part of this install. So open up the seat bucket, remove the felt cover at the bottom of your seat bucket. We're going to use a 10mm socket, and we're going to remove these 2 bolts and these 2 bolts here. Okay, once you've loosened up the 4 bolts that secure your seat bucket to the frame of the vehicle, lift upward and be careful. You're going to see a bunch of wires under here. That's to have access to the switch and everything else. You don't necessarily have to unhook these. You can just lift them up and get access underneath here to these two mounting points, this is really where you're going to be focused. So if you turn the seat bucket in such a way, you can turn it and still have access to this screw without actually unhooking it. If you do want to unhook it, that's fine. You know, don't yank on the wires, whatever you do. So it's going to be 3 12mm bolts that secure the rear grab rail to the frame of your vehicle. Okay, when putting the racks back on, I prefer to hand install hardware always. That's to make sure if you're using an impact like we typically do, we use a very light impact driver, electric version. That way you don't cross thread any of the bolts going back in. Just thread them in by hand. Grab rail installed. Okay, seat bucket goes back in. Same concept. You want to hand tighten these first. These bolts are going into the frame, and you definitely don't want to cross thread them because your frame is not something that you can easily replace. These two bolts in the front of the seat bucket are a little tighter, so I'll usually just pull the socket off of the impact and use that as a tool to help me thread them in. And helps you reach in the tight spaces. And again, we're just hand tightening these first before we use a socket or a ratchet or a driver to drive them in all the way. We're done. Ready to transform your buddy kick? Order this Blackout Kit today at Scooterworks.com. I'm James from Scooterworks USA. Thanks for watching.